Welcome to a new episode of Cooking with Foul Beast. My partner in crime, Jason, he's currently a little on the sick side, and I was discussing with my mother a recipe that goes back to the 1600s. It's called Sarma. It's basically sour cabbage rolls. Like I said, a very old recipe, centuries. My mom has a really good recipe on how to make it. We'd like to share it with you. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Let's
and
start
I'm
this
not
one
that
off,
old,
right?
okay?
Oh, yeah, I know you're not that old. Oh, I gotta start this episode off right. So, kind of jump into this a little bit because some people are not familiar with this. So this product right here is basically a sour cabbage head. This one is a brand somewhat local to us. Obviously we need some pork, some beef. This is bacon, smoked bacon and seasoned. There's some of it chopped up here that's going to be going into the meat. And we need some sauerkraut. So this is just an amazing recipe, and we can't wait to share it with you. So let's get ready to prep. Let's roll it. In front of me here, I have 1.5 pounds of pork and 2 pounds of beef. We're using the lean ground beef, grass-fed. And now we have to mix the meat mixture into what we're going to be stuffing the sarma with, or the rolls with, I should say. So I'm going to add the bacon into this mixture. We're going to do the eggs. So these are just slightly beaten. You don't have to go completely crazy. 2 eggs. And now we have 2 teaspoons of paprika. We have 2 teaspoons of salt. A teaspoon of pepper. Two teaspoons of Vegeta. And about 3 to 4 smaller garlic cloves, minced. And now we mix this together. This is why we wear gloves, because this is much, much easier. You want this all to be well mixed. Sometimes we lose a little bit. Now basically you just want to make sure that everything's all mixed nicely, so that way everything is all even all throughout. Once you got it all mixed up, we're going to let it rest for a couple of minutes, and we're going to be back because we need to cook this meat, and we'll be on with the next step.
I'm putting 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pot. The stove is on medium heat. And then I'm adding chopped onions.
So there's one medium head of onion. And to sort of keep on with our tradition, because of heartburn, we did use a little bit of celery in there as well.
About 2 to 3 tablespoons of celery makes the trick with heartburn, so you don't have to suffer. And now we are just gonna cook them until they are just translucent.
To sort of speed up the cooking process, make them translucent a little faster, you can use the lid.
Now our onion is ready, so I'm just gonna add meat, and because it's really mixed very well with spices and everything, but meat is lean, not too much fat, and it's gonna cook for a couple minutes, mixing all these onions in, and let it cook for a couple minutes. You will see meat is changing already color, whatever is exposed to heat. Why I cook my meat for sarma? Because I discovered that meat has better taste when we have finished product.
So the word sarma comes from the Turkish verb sarmak, which means to wrap or to roll. So the name literally describes the cooking technique, wrapping, filling inside a leaf. This is the food that spread across the entire empire. Sarma became popular throughout regions controlled by the Ottoman Empire, spreading from modern-day Turkey across the Balkans, Eastern Europe, and parts of the Middle East. Today, you will find it in many cuisines, including Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, Turkey, and Armenia. Each place claims their version is the real one. But of course, this is the real one. The one we're cooking today is the real one.
The one you are used to.
The one I'm used to, absolutely. Okay, so now that the meat is obviously not all the way cooked, you don't want to cook this meat all the way through because you want it to cook in the sarma while it's being cooked. However, now
we are adding washed rice, and we are just gonna mix it in and cook for another minute or two, just to blend that taste.
Now, Mom, can you tell us, why do we wash this rice?
I washed rice in a lot of water, 3 waters at least, because I want starch out, and I also want to lower glycemic index because we have people with diabetes problems in the household. So whatever I do with rice, I always wash rice in at least 3 waters.
So now you want to make sure that this rice is obviously all the way mixed in. And then once you mix it in, we're going to take this off the heat and we're going to get ready to roll it. Alrighty, so now we have to prepare the cabbage to make it easier to roll. So some of the pieces have to be trimmed off. So basically the stalk where she's cutting along the lines here has to be trimmed down a little bit. This will make it so that way it rolls and it doesn't split.
And we are gonna prepare all of our leaves like that.
And we'll be back once that's done. Now that the cabbage is prepared, now we add the meat.
And this is bigger spoon. It's actually measurement of 2 of those at least.
This is the spoon that I eat with. And
what I do, I basically turn one side in, then roll it, and then just tuck in the other side. That way they are not gonna unwrap easy. So the first one is already here.
I want to try one.
Yeah. Sorry?
So my spoon's worth of meat.
No, you have to hold it in your hand.
I have to hold it in my hand.
Yes,
Okay.
because you need that hole here.
Okay. Is this a good measurement?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. You like your
That's
meat.
about my bite size, right about there. And now fold this one in half. And then go like this. And then tuck it in.
Yeah, you need to make it a little bit more firm. Like, I go like this, and then when you roll it, you kind of slightly press it, so it's not gonna unwrap.
Okay. The reason why I didn't really press it is because I didn't want the leaf to break.
Well,
There
I
we
know you
go.
are stronger than I am, but there you go. It smells already good.
Oh, already reminding me.
What you are gonna enjoy later, I
Oh,
hope.
absolutely. We usually pair this with
Mashed potatoes.
mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better. I swear to you. This is, wow, amazing. All right, so sometimes as you get near the center of the head, and they tend to be, the leaves, that is, a little bit smaller. So sometimes you have to use two. So this is my mom showing you how to do that.
Yeah, you just stack two leaves together and then roll it and behave like it's one big leaf. So sometimes the content goes out on its own, but when you putting them in big pot, what is important is actually to stuck them somewhere in the middle so they don't unwrap easy.
This is actually considered to be a winter comfort food. Cabbage is usually only ready at certain times of the year as it begins to get sour. And if you talk to the old grandmothers of the Balkan, they don't just make 10 of these. They usually make about 120. And freeze a whole bunch, you know, to last them until February, because it behaves really good in the freezer.
It's really freezing good. You just had to actually let it defrost in the fridge. You take it out day early and then add just a little bit of water when you are reheating and just put it over slow heat.
You basically know that you've been really successful at your grocery skill if you manage to get your ratio right between your sour cabbage and your meat. And it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have a little bit more meat than what you need. Sometimes you have a little bit more cabbage. If you're left with more cabbage, this is fairly easy. You can cut up the cabbage and you can use it all together when it's all cooking, so you don't have to throw anything away.
Oh, we are not gonna throw anything
We're not
away.
going to throw anything away. No, we don't do that here.
We are just gonna increase the content of this, some of the sarma. Now I'm gonna use actually about half of the jar.
So this jar is about 1 liter.
And I'm gonna spread it off the bottom. So
Now also on the other side there, if you notice there's a bunch of it cut up. That is the cabbage that we did not use in the rolls. Those cut up ribs and the center of the cabbage roll, that's all been cut up. And it has excellent properties for your digestive system. So we decided to use that in the actual sarma as well. This all helps. And it also creates that beautiful sour cabbage roll taste.
Now we were basically covering the bottom of that dish, and now we are gonna put our sarmas on the top of that. So when you cook, nothing's gonna burn your sarma. That's also kind of isolation to protect your sarma. And I'm gonna start with biggest rolls all around and stack them really good. And the rolls what are smaller are gonna go in the middle and on the top. So that type of the dish is usually made around holidays in all over the place or the Balkans, because it's helping. You know, after holidays we usually indulge a lot, and it's helping digestion a lot. So it makes you healthier. I didn't count how many of those we have, Igor.
I have no idea. I did not count either. I know it's not 120.
That was my personal record, remember?
Mm-hmm. Another thing that we add in this is this absolutely delicious bacon. This bacon is seasoned as well as dried and smoked. So you can actually eat it just like that. However, when you put it in something like this, it elevates the taste and it makes it so much more amazing. And of course, can't forget the bay leaves. Now usually we say 4 bay leaves, but these are pretty small, so there's about 6 there.
So we are gonna kind of put that bacon around. And then we are gonna add some bay leaves. The problem is sour cabbage, what you really have a hard time to find.
Sometimes you can find this sour cabbage at the grocer's, and they're located in the cooler section.
And that will be ready to cook when we prepare sauce for sarma, and you will see that shortly. Now we are going to prepare sauce for the sarma.
So we like to use lard over the seed oils, obviously. Lard is a lot more natural.
And olive oil is extra virgin olive oil is also good.
Yes, if you don't like the lard, you can use olive oil. So medium heat. When you're working with lard or olive oil, you don't want to put high heat on.
And then we have here approximately 3 tablespoons of gluten-free flour. So we are gonna stir that in. And if we need 1 more tablespoon, we are gonna add. This is just approximately, and I think I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna go with one more tablespoon. Now it's perfect. We are just gonna cook that over medium heat until it's a light golden.
So it would be good to say that we are using gluten-free flour here because my mom has an allergy to gluten. But you can use real flour to do this. We call it real flour, but you can use wheat flour. Now, as it starts to get a little bit golden in color, we're going to be starting to add more things to this.
Yeah, it will go. Paprika will go in when it's changing color a little bit more. That's the light color. See? Here. And now I'm gonna add paprika in.
That is 2 teaspoons of paprika going in.
Okay, and then we are gonna add water. What I'm gonna do, now paprika is here. I'm adding here dilute strained tomatoes. I prefer using strained tomatoes instead of tomato pasta. And I will dilute that with a little bit of water and then put it in. And then we will need half of that. More. I'm mixing all the spices in now. All the cabbage rolls will have to be covered.
So the spices that are going into this is 2 teaspoons of Vegeta, 1 teaspoon of black pepper powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, and 1 teaspoon of onion salt.
And I think we are gonna need probably half of that more.
So we're up to about 3 liters of water now.
And I'm gonna increase heat a little bit to make that faster. And then I'm gonna, before I add this water in, I'm gonna try and adjust seasoning. I'm not sure that I'm gonna need that water yet, but we'll see if we could cover all the rolls. The amount of sarma I'm doing this time, it's smaller than my usual, so that's why we have adjustment of recipe. So I'm gonna bring this to boil, and then we are gonna cover all the cabbage rolls.
So every now and again, as you're bringing this sauce up to a boil, you do have to stir it. Otherwise, you could create the lumps in the sauce. And it could also settle with the flour and everything towards the bottom. So you don't want that to happen.
The reason why I love this pot so much, because it has that little tip here, and it's so easy to go over and do your work all over. So now we will see if we guess the right amount of juice. And I hope we did, because all our cabbage rolls needs to be covered in order to cook properly. And first we are gonna cook them in the stove top. Perfect. The little bit is actually out, but not because we don't have enough sauce. It's because they're tend to swim on the top. So I'm gonna try them, but they will come out. That's okay, because lid is going on this, and I'm gonna put this to cook on the stove top first.
And how long do we cook them on the stove top before we move them into the oven?
At least hour and a half. We will see how actually it's gonna develop when it starts heating. But sauce is basically cooked. Meat is pre-cooked approximately 1/4 of the way. So that's why my sarma doesn't need very long cooking. It will go here, and then it's gonna go covered in the oven, and then we are gonna remove lid and basically bake a little bit, approximately 30 minutes. All the details of cooking is gonna be provided in the recipe, what you are gonna get underneath the video.
Speaking of the section underneath the video, please remember to like and subscribe. The more subscribers we have, the more we can bring to the table. So please, click that button. Okay, so it's been about an hour that the sarma has been sort of sitting on the top, on the cooktop of the stove. It's been cooking on medium heat.
That's right.
Just for about an hour, and I mean, it looks absolutely phenomenal. So in about the last 10-15 minutes, we've turned on the oven to 350 degrees, and now it's the time for it to go into the oven for an additional covered. Yes, I'm transferring this. Do keep in mind, please, this is heavy, very heavy and hot. So make sure that you wear the gloves and just be prepared for the weight.
Oven is hot.
Oh yeah, it is.
And now we are gonna cook covered for 1 hour, and then we are gonna remove lid and bake it for approximately 30 minutes.
Oh, so we're still about an hour and a half away from having it
the
completed. So an hour in the oven, and then we're going to remove the lid and bake it for another half an hour.
Approximately, yes.
Perfect. So the sarma has been in for an hour now in the oven, cooking at 350. And it is now time to take the lid off in order to get that top sort of baked in. Oh, look at that. This is amazing. Oh. Now we're going to put it back in. And it's going in for
next half an hour.
Next half an hour. And it's going to be done and ready for plating.
That's right.
Sarma has been in for just a little over half an hour, and it is now ready to be pulled out.
Don't go too close.
Give it for a moment so I don't get that facial again. And oh my goodness. Look at that. That is absolutely phenomenal. That is amazing.
Okay. And what we usually do, we serve that with mashed potatoes.
Which we made on the side and behind the scenes. I'm sure everybody that watches this channel knows how to make mashed potatoes, and no, you're gonna have to find that video elsewhere. But I can't wait to try this. So
Bowl.
we'll be back in a moment. This is my absolutely favorite time of every episode that we do, and that is when we get to try this stuff, because the smell is absolutely fantastic. This is Sarma. This is the way it's meant to be served. This is just a baby bowl. Normally I get it in a much larger bowl, and there's usually 2 or 3 pieces in here because, man, I can eat. But one thing that you need to know about Sarma, it is going to be much better tomorrow. Much, much better tomorrow. Because everything's going to get to sort of soak in, and that flavor is just going to be spectacular. So I can't wait to have it tomorrow. But I have to try this because I've been smelling it for the last 2 hours, and actually more than that. And I can't miss it. But the first thing I'm going to try is that bacon, because, oh man, something about bacon. It is so soft. Spectacular. Right. So now, I want to try a little bit of this before I put the potato on it. This is the flavor. This is what, oh God, this is so good. To say comfort food, this is way too comfortable. If this is this good today, I really can't wait for it to try it tomorrow. Wow. I am going to finish this, but
It's very hot.
thank you for another episode of Cooking with Fall Beast. Remember, please subscribe, hit that button down below, and make it possible for us to make more of these videos. Springtime is coming, warmer weather, barbecue season, and things that we want to cook to show you how to cook it and to just enjoy every single flavor profile that we know. Jason, buddy, I missed you this episode. I can't wait to get together again so we can do more of this. So get well soon. Mom, thank you very much for cooking this. Thank you very much for sharing this recipe. This is my mom's recipe. This is the way she's made it for years. This is what we beg for, pretty much, for every holiday season. It's a New Year's tradition for us. However, thank you so much, Mom. And remember, my mom does have a book out there, Gluten-Free and Delicious. It is on Amazon. I will post the link down below. Check out her recipes. These are amazing. They're good for your system and everything else. And yeah.
Enjoy it.
I will. Thank you very much, Mom. Thank you for being a part of another one of my episodes.
Good.
This is all new. We're not experts, but we're trying. So, be that as it may, thank you very much for joining another episode of Cooking with Fall Beast. And we'll see you again next time.